Okay, so Michaela, I'm loving listening to you read because you're a very good reader. But there are a few things that I think that we could do that would make you a better reader, okay? All right, are you noticing that some things are getting a little bit tricky for you sometimes? Yeah, okay. And I noticed that you're trying lots of things. I noticed you looked at the picture, which is always really good. You looked at words, you tried to make the first letter, but there's just some words that aren't right. So I want us to try to read this one more time, okay? Because here's what I need you to do. You didn't stop when it didn't sound right. You just kept going and you were missing a lot of words. Okay, and so what a good reader does, they stop and they think, that did not make sense. And they go back and read it again and try to fix it. And so that's what I want you to start doing. I want you to listen to yourself read. And if it doesn't make sense, then just stop and read it again, okay? Because there's nothing wrong with that. Readers do that all the time. Good readers do, okay? So let's go back to the beginning of this page and let's just try to see if we can fix anything that was tricky, all right?
Mr. Rogers.
Okay. Mrs. Rogers.
Rogers tried to call you, she said.
Okay, that was great. So you said Mrs. Rogers told, and then you immediately fixed it and said Mrs. Rogers tried. So that was a good example. Okay, so read it one more time.
Mrs. Rogers tried to call you, she said, but your telephone is out of order. I know, said Mrs. Carter.
Okay, let's stop 1 second. All right, this is Mrs. right here, M-R-S. Do you see this right here? M-R, that's just Mr., okay? So this is a man, Mr. Carter, like your principal is Mr. Campbell, okay? And this is a lady, Mrs. Rogers, like your teacher is Mrs. Barrett, okay? All right, so I know, said Mr. Carter.
But thanks.
Okay,
Thank goodness you're here.
Okay, you did it again. Perfect. You said, but thanks, and you stopped, and you're like, something's wrong here. That's not thanks. You realize you put an S on it, and there's no S, and then you fixed it. So that's wonderful. But thank goodness you're here.
The children are going wild. Miss Lang left a list for today. I'll take you to the room.
And you did it right there too. You fixed it. I'll take you to the room. You said your. It wasn't your. Your didn't even make sense or sound right. Well, it might have sounded right. I'll take your. But you looked at it and you're like, that's not your. So good work. Okay, keep going.
I handled Amelia Bedelia the list.
Okay, I'm going to read what you said. Put your finger under the words and I'm going to see if you notice what you did. Okay, this is where you were. You said, I handed Amelia Bedelia the list. Did you notice anything wrong?
Mm-hmm.
What?
He had.
That's right. But you know what? You didn't even notice it. You just kept going. All right? So it's little bitty words. They're easy. You know them. But you've got to make sure if you're reading them wrong, you got to fix it. Okay? Because in this story, it'll make a really big difference. Okay? All right, let's keep going.
Or pause it.
Let's pause it.